So Leighton, England versus Scotland must be a massive fixture. How much are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it is a big fixture. I think everyone knows, the history that comes with this game, and there'll be an intense rivalry amongst the fans and on the pitch as well. Although it's a friendly, it's two nations who ultimately want to get one over on each other. So it'll be it makes for a good game.
This game hasn't been played for 14 years. Do you think that'll make it any more intense on the night?
Well, it may do. It may add to the occasion if you're sort of playing each other, every few months. It may take something away from it. The fact that there's been such a gap between the fixture probably adds a little bit to the intensity.
Have you got any particular memories of England versus Scotland games down the years?
I mean, the one for me from sort of my generation of watching football was obviously the Euros and Gazza's goal. It was quite a special goal at the time and in a big game. So that's the one that comes to mind.
You've played in a lot of Merseyside derbies against England players, and in this particular fixture you could come up against an Everton player in Stephen Naismith in a British derby. What would that be like, and what sort of character is he to face against?
He'll be a tough opponent to come up against because he's a really good player. Naisy, I've been playing with him for a year or so now, and we know a lot about each other, so it'll be interesting if we did end up coming up against each other at some point. But both will be giving it all for the countries on that night, and we'll have to put our club teammate things aside and get on with our job.
What do you think they'll be thinking when they come out to face England? Obviously we'll be the favourites because we're at home, but they'll be wanting to get one over on us, won't they?
Yeah, I think both sides will be going into the game with a similar attitude and mentality really, and that's to do our nations proud and to try and win the game. So hopefully that'll sort of add to the occasion, and it'll make for a good game for everyone to watch and to play in.
Does it feel any different when you're playing against British players as opposed to the traditional overseas teams?
I think the difference is obviously you sort of see each other week in, week out, and you know a lot more about each other. Sometimes you go into certain games at this international level and you don't know a lot about the opponent. If that's one of the sort of nations that you don't come across, on your sort of weekly watching of football. Obviously we know a lot about the Spanish teams and the likes of those, but I think the difference between this game and some of the others is, as I said there, we know everything about each other really, and your preparation's half done before you've even started. It sort of self-motivates really, doesn't it, because it is such a spicy encounter. So it's probably better to have it this way than to have a low-key one somewhere else. This one sort of, it almost marks the start of the season before we kick off the Premier League season.
And it's an opportunity for you to get back with the England players as well. How's it been here at St George's Park this week?
It's been a relaxed week. Some of us only played yesterday, so it's been a light session. Tomorrow is the first time we'll all come together as a group and get our first main session done, and obviously that'll then be our last session as well before the game. So I think that maybe just shows what a tough job sometimes the manager does have in trying to prepare us. He doesn't get a lot of time with us, so we've got to make the best use of it we can.
And your last outing for England was over in Brazil as well. What was that game like and the whole experience of being in Rio?
Well, going out there was great. Playing in Brazil is a great occasion, something that you look back on and be proud to be involved in. But the conditions out there, it was stifling. It was tough conditions, and the lads dug in really well despite going behind to sort of come back strong in the game.
And you had a chance to go around Rio, and you went into one of the projects, and you went up to see the Christ the Redeemer statue and things like that. Did that give you a real taste of what the World Cup could be like next year? Yeah, well, we weren't there for a very long time, but we tried to take in as many experiences as we could while we were there. And obviously it'll hopefully prove a valuable experience when we do go to Brazil for the World Cup. We were able to go to it, get based out there and sort of sample what it's going to be like, and hopefully that'll stand us in good stead later on. This is, the start of a big season, international football. There's a lot of big games now to try and qualify for the tournament, so this is the start of the preparation for us, and hopefully we can get some good work done, get something out of the game, and that'll lead us forward going into the qualifiers.